Yes, board, just a couple of things there. You'll see on the agenda, we'll get those items on they are on the agenda in the regular session. This is, for the audience's information, this is the last regular meeting for this year, and for two of our board members, our vice chair, Donnell Harless, and also our chairman, Craig Priest. And we have refreshments outside in the hallway that we'd like to participate in after a while. We'll get that opportunity. But congratulations to both of you. We'll recognize both of you.
We should have time.
Yes, we should. We will.
Welcome, everybody. A big crowd this evening. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is Pledge of Allegiance. We all stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, this is one of my freshman cadets. This is Cadet First Lieutenant Dustin Morrison. He's one of my outstanding freshmen. He's probably got one of the highest grades in the class, and I think he's really enjoying the class. And this is your Board of Education.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is a moment of silence. If you can do that for just a moment. Thank you. Student spotlight.
Mr. Chairman, we have two students recognized tonight. The first one is Emily Waller. Come on in, Emily. And is Marcy out there? Okay.
You're a basketball player. I mean, I read about you every week in sports.
This is a soccer.
Huh? You're a soccer player too?
Yeah, David White.
Well, no, but I didn't give it away. I just, yeah, I recognize the name. I mean, you're quite good.
Would you share with the board about the JKG and the 1 millionth student?
JKG is an organization branched off from the JAG, Jobs for America's graduates. And what it helps is it helps students through that program to graduate so they don't drop out of school, and it helps them like fill out information for jobs so they can get jobs right after school. And the 1 millionth student was like the 1 millionth student that graduated through that program, and I got to represent the state of Kentucky for that.
And what did you get to do in DC?
I got to lay the wreath at the Tent of the Unknown Soldier out of 600 people that came to the JAG.
Very impressive. We're very proud of you. I went over to see Emily a couple of weeks ago, I think, and presented her with a coin, and also recognized her with Marcy. Marcy does a tremendous job. Of course, we know it's a national program, recognized program over there, and through the board support, it is an elective, and certainly it's well worth it. Kids enjoy it, and they're very successful at it.
Is that her parents?
Where?
Right there. Do y'all the parents? Could they come up and get in the photo too with you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
This is Student Spotlight. This certificate is awarded to Emily Waller for exemplifying the value of a Martin County education, and we're so very proud of you. Thank you.
Okay, can we, y'all hands on it. Cameron, can you get that for me for the paper?
Thank you, Emily. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you. Whoop. The other one. Thank you. And our next student that we want to recognize is Rachel Kazee. Is Rachel here?
Yes, she's here.
Where? Is she?
She's in the door.
She got her parents.
Come on up, Rachel. You have your mom with you?
Yes.
Come on up. You come on up as well. Good to see you again, Rachel. I came over to the high school the other day. Is Bruce or Mr. Harkins with you tonight? Okay. Mr. Harkin's done a tremendous job. Again, thank you, board, for investing in another music teacher for our district at the middle school this past year. So now we get a full-time music instructor at the high school and at the middle school, and that investment is paying off. It's paying off handsomely as well. So Rachel, if you could just share with the board why you're being recognized tonight.
I made all district bands. It's really competitive. They only take the top students, and there was a lot of my time, and only take the top 5, and I was picked for it.
And what do you
Go
play?
ahead.
Alto sax.
How was that?
Alto sax. How much is one of those things run?
Probably about $800.
Yeah, a lot.
Well,
Did you
her-
buy one for us?
Yeah, the one I bought her, passing.
Yeah, that was on sale.
You better get recognized at $5,000. It was on sale too,
It was
no?
on sale.
Yeah. So did you go down to MSU or down to Pike? Okay. All right. So what do you want? And what year are you in? Graduate or junior? Or senior?
I'm a senior.
You're a senior. Okay. And what are you going to do? I know you already. I've already asked you all these questions. So.
I plan to graduate from Sheldon Clark, go to Big Sandy 2 years, transfer to Moore.
All right. And what do they have at Big Sandy that I did not know that they had down there for you?
They just started a band, so I can go there, work towards my nursing 2 years, and then transfer to Moorhead and finish out there.
Very good. I did not know until I spoke with Rachel that Big Sandy 2-year program has band now. So that's going to help you out and continue to be a student involved in extracurricular activities. That makes you a better student. We're very proud of you and your music instructor, Mr. Harkins, and your mom here. It's so good to have you here with us tonight, and certainly it takes a lot of folks to make kids successful in school, and we wish you the very best. We just want to recognize you
How
tonight.
district name?
Martin County Schools Student Spotlight. Thought you had somebody else in there.
No, I was Carol, get me a picture.
Student Spotlight. This certificate is awarded to Rachel Kazee for exemplifying the value of a Martin County education. You did a great job down there. There you go. Thank you. And I already gave Rachel her coin as well. Thank you. Thank you, Mom. Okay, our school spotlight, we want to recognize tonight our schools that received, and we talked a little bit about this with Eden Elementary's site-based council that was here. This past summer, actually, it was the last school year that Dr. Holliday, State Commissioner, offered $10,000 grants to the first 96, it was called Blitz to 96, the first 96 districts that boards would implement a policy, approve a policy to increase the compulsory age of attendance to 18. And so it was right at the time, actually it was in June, July, and August time period, so it was a time of transition in 2013. So we didn't hit the 96, but we felt pretty comfortable, we being other 97 and above, felt comfortable that Doc Holliday was going to pony up and extend that to all the other districts, which he did. And so we're very appreciative. We received a $10,000 grant, and we determined, sit down and said, well, what's the best way to implement this to prevent our students or to help our students stay in school, and really to get the value of education throughout the community, parents, community members, across stakeholders, and certainly for our students. So Mr. Paul Baker, and I don't know if he's here tonight, he and a few other folks sat down, Craig Grace and some others, sat down to determine what's the best way to do this, $10,000, that gift. And we really kind of capitalized on that, and we initiated, and what he designed, a small group came up with a great idea to allow schools to determine what they needed for their kids, elementary, middle, and high school. So it was a competitive grant within our district, and it went really well. And you heard a little bit about that tonight at Eden Elementary School. They're just using their money well, and that's the best place to put it, right at the school level. So we want to recognize the schools for those who, on that competitive grant within our district, that received those funds. And the first one, if we have a representative from Sheldon Clark High School.
Oh, Dr. Lane.
Is Dr. Laney here as well? Well, come on up.
I heard he did.
Come on up, Missy. So good to have you here. Now, were you a part of writing this grant?
Yes.
Okay, So tell the board and the audience a little bit about the grant.
All right, well, our program is called the Right Track Program, and because of that name, we want our kids to be on the right track for graduation and getting that high school diploma. As part of this program, it's mainly going to be an after-school program where we're targeting about 10 students that we want to have a mentor relationship, build that really strong relationship personally, and also that is encouraging towards getting that high school diploma and graduating high school. We also want to involve the families in this, as that support system at home also ties into their school achievement as well. And we would like to also have these students experience some kind of career opportunity, so see what's out there for them, or any kind of technical higher education opportunity as well.
Very good, very good. And this is to recognize the Shelby Park High School for exemplifying the value of the Martin County education. Congratulations, and thank you for all the hard work. We appreciate it, appreciate it. All right. One of our Teach for America teachers over at the high school, they just do a tremendous job. We try to hang on to them as long as we can too. So thank you for all the work that you're doing over there, and Dr. Laney. And the Martin County ATC. Mr. Jude.
Oh, you got that back.
All right. So tell us the great things. I know you were here last month. I know you weren't able to make it with the board, but you shared a little bit with the board last month, a little peek about what you were going to do with this, should you get it. Well, now that you've got it, share with the audience and the board again what you're doing.
We're doing a collaboration project between 3 classes. We're actually going to be building a car from the ground up. The car itself, the body is going to be made out of wood, so the carpenter class is going to be handling that. And then we'll be handling the chassis frame and the electricity, be doing all the wiring and stuff to it. So it's to mainly try to raise interest in kids that would normally get to work on other things and stuff, and try to keep them in school.
Yes, very good. Now, the board saw the picture of it. In my mind, I keep thinking of the car that was on the Munsters.
The Munsters.
Okay? So if you remember the show The Munsters, not the Addams Family, but The Munsters, that's the kind of car you have over the chassis, you have over the frame, whatever you know. Okay, so we do a lot of work over there, and again.
I had a little bit of insight on it, so we might change some things.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Rough
Is that
corners,
teak wood, oak wood, or is that
we'll probably use some oak.
some pine? How about some knotty pine?
That
A
too.
little bit of that too?
I know you want the bumper, but I think it'd be better out of oak or something.
It really is exciting. Listen, while I got these guys up here, listen, Martha, you and your team, these guys, they do a tremendous job over here at the ATC. It is a gem, meaning a jewel of this district in the state. It just continuously outperforms in all of the areas of performance over there in competitions. It's just a lot of fun going to their competitions and hear all the great things that they're doing. It's just a lot of fun. It gets those kids involved, and that's what it's about. It's college and career ready, and they do a tremendous job. So we appreciate that very much. And whether you go to Eden Elementary and you'll see the trophy case that is a work in progress, and so we just enjoy going over there. Now, what I want to emphasize is the 2 cars that they received. The board knows this, of course, but Toyota actually gave you a car, 2014 Toyota,
2008.
2008
Yeah.
Toyota
Camry.
Camry, and 2 crates,
And 2 engines.
2 engines,
2 brand new engines.
2 brand new engines. So if you ever want to have an opportunity, if you got kids over in ATC, if you want an opportunity to come through there, I'm sure that Miss Williams will set up and arrange a time where you can go through and see what these guys are doing. This is our career and VOTEC for our students here in this community, and they do a tremendous job over there. So we appreciate you very much. Thank you.
I'd just like to say, Mr. Meadows, I appreciate, of course, Carpenter, everything they've done for in the past for a lot of different school projects, and of course, you guys need a test driver. I said Mr. Meadows will volunteer to test drive.
In that monster car.
Oh, y'all got 2 engines, was one of them a V8, 6?
No, we had, both of them right there were 4 cylinders that come in them, but we already had one that donated before was in another Toyota that's a V6, and then we already had a V8 that was there.
Okay, so you got a V8 Toyota.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be the one that'll go into Rod probably?
No, we're gonna be building a Chevy engine for the,
You're
it's
gonna
a
what?
Chevy engine for the
Steady engine?
Chevy, Chevrolet.
Oh, okay, okay, all right. I don't know. Go ahead. Sorry.
That's all right. The next school is Eaton Elementary, and I think the board heard about their grant was, come on up here, Will. Get your photo up here. You know, this is $10,000 is a chunk of change, folks. And the teams in the schools really did a great job. They sat down and put a lot of thought and a lot of time in how best to utilize this grant money to keep our kids in school. So you want to tell us a little bit, tell the audience, you've already told the board a little bit what you did.
One of the teachers sat down and designed a program. It's called Stay In to Win, and it's trying to get students in the elementary school aware of what it takes to become a career person and to stay in school so they can get a good job. She's bringing in each month, we're piggybacking onto another grant that we had. We're bringing parents in and community members in each month, and they do groups with the students, things like doctors, lawyers, judges, carpenters, electricians, different people, and each month has a different topic. And the students do group work, and they do projects, they do crafts, they learn about what it takes to be a career person, so that we hope that in the elementary stage that they will get that bug in them now to stay in school and to go on and to develop into some type of career. So, and the parents get to meet with them, they get the dinner and a lot of other things involved in it also. So, and we thank Trista Stafford for all of her hard work in doing so.
All right, thank you very much, Will. We appreciate you. And Inez Elementary. What do we do at Inez Elementary?
We came up with basically a mentoring program where we identify some kids that maybe are struggling academically, or maybe with attendance, or just maybe struggling with socially, and just kind of having someone to check on them, make sure that their grades are where they need to be, they're attending school regularly, just to kind of check on them every day, just to kind of see, or maybe not every day, but maybe once a week or something, just to kind of see, is everything going okay today? How's your grades today? You know, maybe even checking with parents and seeing if, you know, if there's anything they need at home, or checking with teachers to see, you know, how they're doing in the classroom and that kind of thing. And we're I think we're going to do like three or four teachers or staff members are going to be assigned like 4 or 5 kids, and they're going to check on them, you know, periodically, things like that.
Very good.
And they're going to have rewards and things for motivation type things. You know, if they have done well, then they will maybe take them to McDonald's for a Happy Meal, or, you know, buy them something, or, you know, just kind of show an interest in them and show them that, you know, it is important for you to be at school every day and to do your best in the class and to behave and all that. So.
Very good. Well, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. This is Spotlight award to Inez Elementary for exemplifying the value of Martin County education. Lastly, we want to recognize last year we started with the student spotlight of recognizing the outstanding achievement from our students. Then we included our faculty and staff spotlight to recognize the great things our folks are doing. And in the last couple of months, we've also now included recognizing our community partners. Because it takes a lot of energy, a lot of resources. And one of the great characteristics of this particular community is that it's a giving community. It's very benevolent business in the community, business partnerships, places of our civic groups, faith-based organizations, our churches. just do a tremendous job in partnering with our schools and our kids. They do a great job. And this month, we want to recognize the Roy F. Collier Community Center, and Mandy Parsons is here on behalf of them and to recognize her for her work as well. Give her a hand. Mandy does just a tremendous job. She probably, well, she does work with every principal in our district. Our kids are down there a lot. We have a lot of activities. We hold our professional development activities in the center. Just anything that our schools need. It's not what the center needs, it's what our students need. Mandy has always been open since I've been here. Just a tremendous partner for our kids, whether it's movies or activities or we had a board learning grant, was that what it was?
It was a family literacy
Dollar
night.
General
Yes. Literacy Foundation.
One of our grants, so partnerships, Mandy is always opening up the center to help our kids. It's just a great opportunity down there. They got a lot of great resources down there. And right now we're working on a grant for early childhood education
And we're waiting to hear.
that we're waiting to hear from. So they're just doing a tremendous job down at the center. A lot of resources down there. A lot of sometimes underutilized and not noticed down there, but we're taking advantage of it. And certainly it's just an honor to have a partnership with you down there. We appreciate all that you do. Thank you so very much. This certificate, the first one, is a promise to the value of education. This certifies the accompanying college and career ready challenge coin, represents a promise to bring value to Martin County education. The holder acknowledges the importance of education and promises to bring value to our community and to the Commonwealth of Kentucky. The recipient of this coin has shown faithfulness to this promise. It's presented to Mandy Parsons and Roy Collier Center on December the 8th, 2014. And the pledge for each group from students: I will come to school ready to learn, work hard, and graduate prepared for life. Parents: I will communicate the value of education and learning to my child. Educators: I will set high expectations and help every child to develop a love of learning. And as community, I will support and advocate public education to improve student outcomes. And you've just done a tremendous job. We appreciate it very much. Thank you. Thank you. I'll show you your coin there. This one.
Okay.
I'll fix this one.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Next item on the agenda is faculty and staff lockout. Consent agenda, discussion possible action on November 6/14 and November 10/14 and December 1/14 board minutes. Discussion possible action on treasurer's orders in the amount of $275, $274.10 and paid warrants in the amount of $380, $343.20. Discussion possible action on professional conferences, vehicle requests, and use of district facilities. Is there any discussions on the consent agenda? Not, I need a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion, need a second.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is superintendent matters. Reporting purposes only. Is there anything on that? Any discussion on superintendent matters? Next item is discussion and possible action on KDE Superintendent Evaluation Model SPGES.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Those were attachments that were sent to you. We had our training back in, I believe, June, and it was discussed at that point when the training was given that we would go with the KDE model. So, now that's not to say that the board is still of that mind, but that's my recommendation. Most, if not all, districts are going with that model as well. It falls in line with our PPGS with our teachers as well.
Can I make a motion to approve?
Okay, have a motion to approve. Need a second.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, discussion and possible action on Martin County Middle School roof replacement, closeout, and final payment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Spark, there he is. I would first ask if there is some discussion, Mr. Schmidt, that may be more appropriate for a closed session if it becomes close to litigation. And audience, you'll understand that as we get going. There is a final closeout payment that's on the board. We tabled it last month. Mike is here to talk about some of the issues that we've been experiencing. So any questions that you may have, but again, Mr. Schmidt, if there's any discussions that come up, please don't hesitate to throw a flag on us if we need to have that in closed session. All right. We still have leaks at the middle school.
We still have what?
There-
Oh,
we
I
still
know,
have
yeah, I
leaks
know.
at the middle school roof.
I'm not
And
gonna-
it's in the same place. I believe, and Michael and Larry are here to talk about it. I think we've attempted the repairs a couple times at least. And they continue to work with us on that. But I'll let Mike, there's about a $21,000 balance remaining for a closeout of that.
I mean, here's the thing, you know, it's a $250,000 project, the roof replacement. And it's leaked since they've been finished. I mean, it's, you know, it's clearly a case of inferior work. Am I getting close, Mr. Schmidt?
Well, it's one of two, sir. Yes.
Am I getting, you know, because
We've got
the architect here to
I mean, I'm
answer this.
really PO'd because one of the things we've had is problems with schools. I mean, we had a middle school built, finished in 1999, the roof on it didn't leak, that's the one that we're doing now. And at Eden Elementary, 11 years ago, and it's leaking. And we have mold issues in our schools, that's gotta contribute. Something, the moisture and stuff being in the roof area, then you have heat and you have all that, you know, you would think, okay, go ahead, I've done that. I mean, I'm not
On
wrong.
the Martin County Middle School. Mike, could,
You want me to speak?
yes, please.
Okay, well, Mr. Meadows asked me to be here tonight to address any questions or concerns, and I just made some notes while I was sitting here. I'm going to share with the board some dates, and these are dates that I kind of handpicked. There's been a lot of correspondence back and forth between myself, Larry James, and Mr. Meadows, and the roofer. So, on October the 9th was when I got an email from Mr. Meadows about, you know, concern over leaks, and the leaks happened before that. On October 23rd, I did a punch, which means I go and investigate the roof. I look and I see if I can find any deficiencies or incorrections, inferior work. That's part of my job. On October 29th, the roofer actually visited the job and did repair work. Now, this repair work was work that he assumed on his own, not...
Yeah, but hang on a second, assumed on his own. We're not talking about repair to something that somebody else did. This is a guy who designed the roof. They shouldn't be any repair work at all. This is a guy that put a roof on the school. He's not there to repair it. He put a new roof on the school, shouldn't leak at all. No leaks. So to call it a repair,
Okay, well, we can change the name of it if you like. What would you like to call it?
I mean, it's, I mean, a repair to something
Okay, he
that,
visited the roof to replace some shingles
okay,
that he thought were defective, or he thought might be the cause.
okay.
So, at this point, we don't know, and at that point, we didn't know either if that was going to help or not. He offered to come and replace an area that he thought was suspect, which is what he did. On November the 25th, I visited the school again because the leaks had not, or we say the leaks, there's one specific area that we know water comes in, inside the building. So I did an above ceiling investigation. I walked the roof one more time, looked at the workmanship in place, and then I looked above ceiling. I crawled around. Mr. James was with me with a ladder, and I looked at a few locations, and I reached some thoughts on that. And then most recently, December the 5th, I get an email saying the leak is still happening.
Yeah.
So I will say that, you know, from walking the roof, looking at the workmanship, I don't see poor quality workmanship. Okay, there's one area, I'll take it back, there's one area that is less than quality compared to the rest of the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And that workmanship has changed since my first visit. And it's changed because the contractor went back and reworked it. Now, I'm going to tell the board that, in my opinion, there's 3 possible causes for this water coming in, okay? First one is I'm putting emphasis on the ridge, the roof ridge, on the main volume that covers the gymnasium, okay? And I've spoken to the roofer about this. When we do this roof, when we specify this roof work specifically around a certain manufacturer, we accept details and we accept products that are part of their system. Okay, so the ridge vent that's in place is a manufacturer's product that's accepted if we want the warranty that we're asking for, okay? I'm not convinced that that ridge vent is completely watertight, but we're going to investigate that further with the manufacturer. And I made a phone call to the manufacturer specifically to point that out. Second part is there are two vents, if you will, soil stack vents that penetrate the roof on the adjacent wing of the gym. And the roofer believes that water may be getting in at the vent and then migrating across the deck to this spot. I'm not 100% convinced of that yet, and I'm gonna look at that one more time because I didn't see that on my last visit. The third area, the only remaining thing that I can tell from being up on the roof that could possibly lead to this is a cricket or lack thereof behind a vent, which in this case is an air vent. It's a plenum vent or HVAC vent on the high volume of the gym. And I can see that the roofer has gone back and done remedial work to that area. And given his workmanship, it might be less than what I would expect, but I don't see it as a leaking point. I don't see it as a point that's going to take on water. So I've had these conversations with the roofer. He knows about these, and he knows the board's frustration. He knows my frustration, and he knows his own frustration. The good news is the roofer has not failed to return to the job site. He has not failed to, dispose of responsibility or appear to try to make things better. I'm encouraged by that. It's a roofing company that has a good reputation, that's done thousands and thousands of square feet successfully, and I'm optimistic that they will see this through. And like I told you a few minutes ago, I can't 100% report to the board that this is a failure of workmanship by the roofer. Okay? If I could say with 100% of that, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. So the other thing I would say, and I know this is frustrating to the board, but it is one leak in one area, and that makes it easier, and it allows us to focus our work. So, and I've told Mr. James this, I think I told the superintendent of this, for me to determine actually where the water's coming on, the process is one of elimination. Okay, we need to address all three areas and see if one is effective. Now, the frustrating thing is that doesn't yield an answer in the short term necessarily, but it gives a process for going forward. So that's kind of it, and I'm happy to take on more questions about the board. I'm happy to take a message back to the contractor. The other good news is, I'm not running from this. I'm going to try to help as best I can.
Well, the only thing I'm thinking of is final payment. I mean, surely they wouldn't expect final payment when our roof's still leaking.
I can appreciate that. I can appreciate the board's perspective on that.
I mean, that's just, that's like, it's like going to get, picking up a car, paying for the bill and then coming back and, well, it still leaks oil and stuff like that. No. I mean, my thing is, fix it, then you're paid.
Can I offer a suggestion?
Okay, go ahead, yeah.
I believe there's slightly in excess of $20,000 being left unpaid to the contractor. That's somewhere in the vicinity of 10% of the contract sum.
A little bit less than 10. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe, and I've had some discussions with the roofer about this, and I think that he would welcome this. If the board would consider halfway, maybe holding back 5% of the contract sum and paying the contractor a balance that's remaining less 5%.
And you know, hey,
No.
which is no small sum of money,
No, no, I mean-
$200,000 to fix a leak.
Yeah, I mean, this is a $250,000 project. I mean, it's, you know, he's already been paid, what, $230,000, and the roof still leaks. I mean, I'm not,
I think he needs to pay us.
it just needs to be fixed. And that would be incentive, to me, that would be incentive enough to, if you want your money, make sure our roof doesn't leak. I mean, you know.
It's not that you're trying to be unreasonable, but I mean, that's no small sum of money, and you're paid to do a job. Fix a leak, and.
Fix it and we'll pay you. I mean.
Apparently, we paid him too much already. I don't know.
Okay, and you said there's good, you know, workmanship in the parts that you've looked at. It looks.
There's one area that is below what I would expect, and this happened after my first pump. And it's because they tried ways to address the leak, okay?
So how hard are they trying?
I think they're trying very hard, actually.
So how often
I
are
think
they
you've
over
got to
there? How
do
much time, how often are they over there? How much time are they putting in?
I haven't logged the time. I haven't logged it.
So when was the last time they were over there?
The last time was, actually, I've got a spreadsheet for this that I could share with you. It was a few weeks ago.
Okay, well, that's all. When did they finish the roof? I mean, when was it announced that it was finished? Well, it's been a couple months at least?
Well, I usually let my substantial completion date.
So the only time it doesn't leak is when it don't rain.
That's actually one of the issues. We don't know it
Actually,
doesn't
it
leak
doesn't
until it
necessarily leak when it's raining.
So this past week, when it was doing all that raining, it didn't leak?
Not consistently for the whole time, no.
Okay, not consistently, but it did leak. I mean, it leaked some. It's almost like it's, you know, raining, getting someplace where you're traveling over to work and
Well,
getting
that's a
in.
good point, actually, Mr. Ball. I mean, if you look at the construction of that roof, from the structure up, there's a metal deck, there's insulation, there's a ventilation system, and then there's shingles. So once the water gets in, it can migrate.
It's gotta go somewhere.
And if you look at the structure of the gym, the bar joists actually run perpendicular to the length of the gym, which the trusses do. Then the bar joists run this way, so that puts the deck running this way. And my theory is that it's traveling from the apex of the roof, which is where the vent at the top is, and coming down on the deck, and it's ending up in the ACR room. The ACR room is the one point in the building where the water comes through and expresses
Is
itself.
it leaking the same, I mean,
Yes.
the same as it always?
Yes, now, if you look at the location, there is water that becomes present on the first floor, but that's directly below the same spot on the second floor, so they are related.
Okay, you were talking about a ridge line. A ridge line, is that like, you know, can I explain what that is?
Sure.
That could be defective?
I could say it's poorly designed by the manufacturer, but I don't want to go on record that that's ongoing. I think it's suspect at this point. I don't have proof of that. But I've given the contractor a method for eliminating that as a possibility.
Okay. Well, my motion, can I make a motion?
Well, it's not.
I mean, you know.
Discussion possible action.
Is to withhold payment until the roof is complete, no leaks at all, and that we have some type of, you
So
know.
what kind of warranty do we have?
on a roof.
You have a $20 or 20-year, no dollar limit warranty.
Okay.
Okay. So we have a motion to not.
Yeah, to withhold
final
payment
until the leak is.
until the leak is fixed.
Well, I think correct me if I'm wrong, under the terms of the board's contract with the contractor, the architect's the board's representative.
Yes, sir.
And these, whatever decisions are made with respect to payment, you're supposed to make the decisions, and that's binding on the board.
Well, what I do is I certify payment. What the board does is the board's decision or the board's prerogative I can't speak, I won't pretend to give legal advice here, but I am the board's representative, and I do represent the contract agreement. And when I certified payments, I meant that wholeheartedly, I meant it in the best way, so.
Well, when you certify payment, it was, you know, it should signify that the project is finished, complete, and in this case
Well, it
it
actually
is.
signifies that the contractor has performed according to the contract documents.
But if the roof is leaking, he hasn't. I mean, that would be my argument. If the roof's still leaking, I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, I want the guy to get his money, but I don't want the roof to leak.
Nobody wants it to leak, I can tell you, I don't want it to, I can tell you, the roofer definitely does not want it to leak.
I know that, and I ain't trying to be mean in doing it, I just want to make sure.
What are the contractor's obligations after the contract is completed and a lease develops?
Well, there is a warranty in place, it's signed by there's two warranties, actually, there's a warranty that's in service by the contractor for 2 years after the date of substantial completion. And during that time, he's obligated to visit the job site with his workforces and correct any leaks, any weather tightness warranty issues you have. For a period of 20 years, the manufacturer of the shingles is obligated to visit the site, make corrections, repairs related to failure of product. Okay. Normally what we see is that if a roof is going to leak, it usually happens in the first 2 years. And that's why we do a 2-year warranty with the contractor to obligate them to come and visit it within that time frame. So right now, beginning at the date of substantial completion, which I apologize, I can't quote, I think it was the 23rd.
Okay, the 23rd of what?
Well, actually, Mr. James, you could be right, it may have been in September.
I think it's September.
It's September of 14.
Okay, so it's been
So
at
from
least,
that, beginning from that point forward, there's a 24-month window that obligates the contractor to come visit the site and repair if the roof fails to be watertight.
Well, and his obligation to repair continues beyond 2 years if he never fixes the leak in the first place.
That's a good
That's
question.
the law.
I think that's a good, yeah, it's a good point, because effectively the roof leak was reported when it was reported.
That's right, so he's got a continuing obligation to fix the roof. And I guess legally it boils down to whether or not the contractor is entitled to be paid and then honor his warranty under the contract for the balance of the 2 years. And if the architect certifies that he has completed the work according to the specifications and he has no objection as to the qualities, the contractor should be paid and then made to come back in and honor the warranty. It would be like if you purchased a car from whoever, General Motors, and you financed it through GMAC, and you said, well, I've got a problem with this car. You still have to, unfortunately, you still have to pay for the car, even though you might have a problem with it, and then the obligation on them is to fix it. As long as the architect certifies that the work has been completed and the contractor has performed his obligations under the contract, I think the board ought to pay him, okay? And then he's required to come back. If he doesn't come back and he doesn't fix it, then litigation should ensue. But if you don't pay him, you get into the mediation clauses in these contracts that probably does little more than hold you up in terms of actually getting it fixed. Because you have a mediation process you're required. And the only reason you're required is because the Department of Education makes you put those clauses in the contract. And I've been through those, and if you get into a mediation, you're not likely to be out of it for 3 or 4 months. So I'd pay him, I think.
Well,
So your recommendation is.
but your recommendation was to pay him half.
Well, what I'm trying to do is communicate to the board a conversation I had with the contractor. Effectively, according to certified payment, you should go ahead and pay the contractor, but I think the contractor is willing to acknowledge that the board's frustrated.
Oh, yeah.
And that.
Yeah, that's an understatement, yeah,
And
frustrated, yeah.
He would like to be paid some money, you know, to kind of, he's offering to negotiate, even though he's not necessarily in a compromised position to negotiate. He wants to work with you as opposed to fight.
Yeah, it bothers me to negotiate. I mean, the term to negotiate when we hire this guy
Well,
for $250,000
Maybe
to
that's
do a
not-
job, and then he fails to do it.
I should let the contractor speak to you.
Okay. Will he take,
So your recommendation, Mr. Chairman, is go with what?
Well, I know it's bad because you have a roof leak.
he's not
All
gonna
I'm
get his money.
saying as the board's attorney, if the architect certifies that a payment is due, I think the board's obligated to make the payment. And then we have to go back against the guy on the warranty. And as long as he keeps coming back, that's fine. If he doesn't come back, then I think we have redress against him.
How long will it take him to fix this problem, correct this problem?
I don't think the problem's going to be fixed by just the roofer. I think it's going to take a collection of people, myself included. And as I told you just a few minutes ago, it's going to be a process.
That could involve the manufacturer
It
of
could
the
involve
product.
the
Correct.
manufacturer. At this point, I don't know.
Which I got, you know, like I said, we're frustrated, you spend that much taxpayers' money and you want to get results and.
Would he
Speak out of us.
Would he accept half?
I can't speak for that. I wish he was here tonight. I really do. And he could speak to that, but,
So what is his track record? Have you done roofs
this is
with
our
guy?
first project with that contract, okay? But prior to opening bids, we did some research, and they've done successful projects with other architects and other school districts. And, you know, there were a few different bids. This was the low bid, as you know, and we took that seriously when we opened bids.
And maybe that ought to be a list of us, not necessarily to accept the lowest bid, but also look at the track record of
Yes.
people that you're dealing with, because I mean, it's been a mess, and I'm not for paying the guy at all. Until it's fixed, when it's fixed, we'll pay. I mean, that's just it.
But I think we need to consider what.
Oh, I know, I would think that would be incentive for him enough to, if he wants these, you know, if he wants his $20,000, that he'll come in and fix the roof. If he just wants to blow it off and say, well, you know, to heck with it, then fine. I mean, that's, you know, we'll just scratch him off the list of any future people. You know, we need a roof at Eden.
We sunk that much money.
And this guy would,
We've already sunk that much money and we need to get that fixed.
Meanwhile, 400 kids are apt
We need to get
to
that
put up
fixed.
with this, with their asthma problems
I
and
know.
mold and everything
I know.
else next year. Once again, kids, big corporations
Can we-
shove the kids in the back.
can we table this for another month? Give the guy a chance to come in and do.
That's your decision. That's not my decision to make.
So-
I would rather table it for a month, but I don't feel comfortable in paying this until this thing's fixed.
Well, was there any type of conditions on our part in order for them to receive the final payment? I mean, in the contract, or
Well,
that it didn't leak for one, I mean, you know, or.
Well, no, that's a good point. The contract documents specify a weather-tight warranty. And that's what we're speaking about, is that the warranty is there to, to take that place. I mean, oftentimes we don't know how the roof is going to perform immediately. Sometimes it takes a certain storm, a certain wind. Roofs are tricky things, especially shingle roofs.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we
what
need
he's saying is, or what I'm saying is that if you owe him under the terms of the contract, legally you ought to pay him and then proceed to have him come back and do the warranty work and make a warranty claim on the manufacturer as well and get them both in here. Presumably, you'll have a meeting at some point and the manufacturer will send a representative, perhaps, right? Or you can make
That's right. And, you know, as a school district and as leaders in the community, it's frustrating when these things happen. And nobody likes it. I wish I had a golden answer for you. And I tell boards this because it's very true, that buildings are not manufactured products that you go buy at a car lot or at Walmart. It's not a watch. It's a thing that's made by dozens of people, and each one is unique, and it's a different animal. And like I told the board, the good news is the roofer is not running from it. I'm not running from it, and my intention is to solve it and figure it out. I'm pledging that to the board. That's what I'll do, and that's kind of what it is. As much as I can be responsible, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
these things happen.
That's not your fault. My motion will be to table it for a month.
Okay.
Let's see if this improves.
I want to take the best and the quickest route to get it fixed. What's the best and the quickest route to get it fixed?
Well, I can tell you the process that I've offered to the contractor, if you'd like to hear. First process is to cover that bridge. He has not done that yet. I suspect he will soon, especially after this report on the 5th. Second process is to get up above and have him do a water test on the vents and see if we can replicate that through the vents. I'm going to visit one more time, and I'm going to get up above ceiling and inspect the vents. I didn't do that last time because the vents are on the adjacent roof. And my analysis and my deduction was that it was coming from the gymnasium roof because of the direction of the structure. So, but it could be traveling horizontally on the adjacent deck, getting onto the other deck, coming down. Could be doing that.
So, right, Mr. Smith, you think the best or quickest route to get it fixed is you pay the half or whatever?
Well, I think you're ultimately, whatever happens, your claim is a warranty claim. And that's what he's going to, if he fixes it or doesn't fix it, or if the manufacturer contributes or doesn't contribute, they're going to do it as a warranty claim as opposed to additional consideration or getting their money. Because I know it's not easy to understand, but if the architect certifies that he doesn't see the builder at fault, that's what he's telling you, okay? And he thinks the builder has properly done his work, he's saying that the builder, the contractor ought to get paid and may be made to honor his warranty. That's what you're saying.
That's correct.
And that's legally correct, okay? I mean, it's up to you to decide whether to pay or not. If you say, I don't pay, and the contractor, I assume, will still have to come in and we're going to make a warranty claim, but he will invoke could invoke, if he wanted to, the requirement to mediate the claim as to whether he gets the money. Right? And when you get into all of those things, you get into, you know, they're not inexpensive for either party.
The whole thing about it is, the guy wants,
We've got a motion on the table.
I would still be more comfortable with tabling it and giving him a chance to get up on the ridge line to do all these things and stuff to find out, because it's not a finished product. I mean, it hasn't, the roof's still leaking.
Is there a time frame though that we had to pay it?
Well, the time frame to pay it is up.
That's right.
The time is the past time to pay it, because the architect has already determined the project's substantially complete, and this is the last, payment's due.
If you looked at my pay application when it was signed.
November 6th, right?
Yeah, so that's in excess of 30 days. Or it's close. Yeah, 2 days past.
We're going to be running interest on the money. I can't remember the contract.
I think they've got 45 days.
Okay.
So.
Table it. My motion.
So you think you'll take half?
I'm telling you a conversation I had with him, that was a suggestion, and I mean, there's multiple ways to look at it. Technically, he hasn't been paid the full contract sum.
Okay.
So there's, you know, You could look at it like that.
Okay. We've got a motion on the table, we need to address that. And if the board votes no, or however it goes, then we can readdress it. But currently, we have a motion to table.
My motion is to table it until next month, give the contractor a chance to look at it correctly.
Okay, I need a second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Abstain.
Aye.
Aye. Everybody vote?
Abstain.
Yeah, motion carried.
Did the motion carry?
Sorry, motion carried.
Okay. Okay, please understand, I'm not mad at this guy or anything, I'm looking at the school district or something, the guy wants his money, find it quick. And I'm not saying he's at fault. It could be it could be a manufactured product like that thing that you're talking about.
Okay.
But at least know what it is. If you put that covering like a tarp or something on that, and that's the issue, that's not the contractor's fault, then we'll pay. I mean, we'll pay and then we'll get the money from the manufactured product. The thing that I'm looking at is we have a roof that leaks. Still
Won't you be
leaks.
paying with interest then?
Huh?
Won't you have to start paying interest then? That's what he said, you'd have to pay interest
But
after
we
so
have
many
to pay.
days.
There's a point where interest, there's a
Well,
point
we-
where interest will come in.
You would think it'd be determined though if it's the fault.
Yeah, but here's the thing about it. Is it certified as finished if the roof is still leaking? I mean, I can't.
Well, guys, your architect is certified that he's entitled to the payment. That's all I'm saying.
Next item on the agenda is discussion and possible action on acceptance of KETS funding in the amount of $16,286.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This will actually go into escrow. It will not be matched this time around. We can go back 3 years. We've had these on the board before. We're not losing this money. It's going to be used for technology, matching, and we just want to accept it.
Okay. Accept the funds. Okay. Need a motion to accept the funding?
I'll make the motion. Accept it.
Have a motion and a second?
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. All in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, discussion and possible action on a memorandum of agreement between Dr. Howard Knopf and Project Achieve.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is actually the Positive Behavioral Intervention Support grant that we received for $1.5 million. Dr. Knopf is the facilitator for that grant. He originally had sent a contract for the life of the grant. I sent it over to the board attorney to review it, and we both agreed that it needs to be a year by year. So as it stands, this contract is the first year only for that grant.
Any further discussion? No, I need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Have a motion, need a second.
I'll second.
Motion is second. All in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is discussion and possible action on contract with Appalachian Service Project from May 29th, 15 through July 28th, 15.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Did everyone get to take a look at the contract? This is the folks that came in during the summer. They stayed over at Warfield Elementary this past summer. We offered them adamantly other facilities, but they were just as adamant that they did not want to leave Warfield under any circumstances. So I know there was an issue last year about showers and hot water.
Okay, what did
They're
they?
bringing them with them.
Oh, they're bringing their shares?
They're bringing them with them.
Okay, well, that's good.
I mean, that's what they told us last year, but they didn't bring them, so, but it's in the agreement this time.
Okay,
We offered them any facility in the district, and they were adamant not leaving Warfield.
Okay, can we at least provide them warm water for their shares?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's, I mean, if they bring their own shares, if we give them warm water, it'd be great.
Yes.
Need a motion to approve that contract?
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion, need a second?
I'll second.
Motion is second. All in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is discussion and possible action on student release and moral instruction.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe this was an item that was requested to put placed on the agenda by Mr. Ball.
Yeah. Yeah, this is, actually, Craig I talked to Craig about this, and, you know, all it is just, and I didn't run it by a board attorney, maybe I should, you know, and I didn't do it because it was just something I wanted to do on my own. It's something I didn't want to, maybe burden the school district with. I mean, it's kind of a, it's, if you petition the Attorney General, the only thing they can do is turn you down. I mean, that's it. You know, or they can rule against you. All this comes right down to there's a statute. It's KRS 158-200, and it's been on the books for quite some time. It was resubmitted, I guess, after the Kentucky Education Reform of 1990. And the law that basically says that school districts are required to release students 1 hour per week to attend their respective places of worship for moral instruction. That's a law. Now prior to 1975, school districts did this at schools. I mean, it was allowed to be done. And of course it was challenged in 1975, the way that some school districts did. They rented a portion of the school to you know, these agencies and stuff like that to do it. It's only 1 hour per week. My argument to the Attorney General, a lot of things have changed since 1975 when they issued that opinion. School security, for example. The way the law is written, if, say, a church came to the school district and said, we want our students who have expressed an interest to attend our place of worship for 1 hour per week, and you have to release them to us. We've got time that they're out on the road. You know what I mean? The school districts is responsible for as far as providing security and things like that. You've also got the problem of releasing these students to go to these places of public worship unsupervised, or with at least some kind of school personnel to go with them to supervise them. All right. My argument to the Attorney General is that the way the statute is written, here's what it says: the Kentucky Boards of Education shall fix 1 day each week when pupils who have expressed a desire for moral instruction may be excused for at least 1 hour to receive 1 hour each week to attend their respective places of worship or some other suitable location in accordance with the religious faith or preference of the students. My argument is not to compel any students to do that. My argument is that to exclude, from the 75 opinion, to exclude local ministers or the Ministerial Association, to exclude them from holding this on school property is not right. It doesn't violate the this separation of church and state. Number one, because it's non-compulsory. Kids don't have to go if they don't. Now, we open up our schools to fundraising groups that come in. They come in, they've got a product. Okay, kids, if you sell so much of this, you know, you'll get a ride on the quotations, or you'll get this, you'll get the ride on the limousine. In no way is the school endorsing that product. They're just allowing it to be raised. I mean, they're allowing it to be sold on school grounds. And they're actually offering an incentive for these kids who want to peddle their wares, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, you know, there's only so much cookie dough and stuff like that that you can buy. Okay, but we allow that. My point is not to proselytize, not to ram anything down people's throats, but to allow that service to be offered. Access. If you allow the companies access, then you should allow churches access. And rightfully so, you would have to allow other groups access. I understand this, but this is for moral instruction only, 1 hour per week, And and the only difference actually is gonna be is where it's gonna be held. It all boils down to that, where is it going to be held? If it's held, let's say that it's held in a local church. Let's say that, Pastor Mills he takes a group of kids over to his church, and in the process, somebody comes into school and mows them down, just in a gun, Would the board be held liable for that? Because after all, it is something, it did happen during school hours. My argument is, if you're going to do this, allow it to be done in a school setting where we control the secure environment for kids who choose to attend. You know what I mean? Completely student, initiated, only for that. It's just a service. That's all it is. It's a service. If you want to attend, you can. If you don't want to attend, you don't have to. You know what I mean? But that is a provision of the law. We can allow for moral instruction for kids who want to attend. Their parents can sign the consent slips. I have no problem with it. And I don't think the Attorney General will have a problem with it either. I had to contact them to get the 75 opinion that was written. And I think there's some things in the law that have changed, or maybe the mindset has changed, to where the Attorney General will give particular attention from a security standpoint, is when you're moving kids from point A to point B, and there's a lot of things that can happen in between, that it makes much more sense not to move all these kids, but rather have these local ministers or moral instructors access to the building, where you already control the environment, the principals and all the staff. That's what I've written. And I talked to Craig about this the other day. Craig saw the 75 opinion. And I wrote this kind of on my own, but then I have legal standing to write it. As a board member, I have legal standing to write it. But I feel like probably what I'm going to need is maybe the sanctioning of the board, or the okay by the board, because as an individual board member, I probably don't have legal standing to bring that question. But the board as a whole unit does. And my letter, this is my letter, dated November 13th, so they already have it down at the Attorney General's office. I'm challenging an opinion that's been on the books for 40 years. And my position in this, is that we allow things in like Rachel's Challenge, and we allow other kind of programs that address behaviors. You know what I mean? What better way to do this than to have people in the community that our children respect to be leaders, and just allow these leaders to have access. If you want to listen to them, fine. If you don't want to listen to them, fine. You know what I mean?
Harry, just to say, Rachel's Challenge was faith-based.
Huh?
Rachel's Challenge did have a lot of faith.
Yeah, I know that's what I'm saying. It's a faith-based program. And here's the thing about it. It's a faith-based, program, and it's allowed in schools. My argument is that the school is not endorsing a religion. It's not. Any more than the school is endorsing the cookie dough, pizza dough, and all these things that these companies peddle as wares. It's not an endorsement. So that's the basis, and I'm asking the board to, sanction my letter in case that it does come up, that they ask, okay, well, this is the position of Mr. Ball, but is this the position of the board?
I'm not for sure what you're asking. We have ministers in the school. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about a 1-hour session per week of moral instruction being allowed in the schools.
Who will determine when that child can go? Will it go in the middle of the class it's needed, or?
Well, they'd have to set the schedule. That would be up to the school to set the schedule.
Craig, can I ask you a question?
Sure. Mhm.
So, if Bashir's, Conway, it'll be Bashir. If Conway's office agrees with you,
Mhm.
then my concern lies with my longtime administrator members.
Mhm.
When Joe the Muslim from Huntington,
Oh, I know that.
Huntington or Charleston comes over
Yeah.
and says, Dr. Laney, me and three of my, whatever they are.
I've already, here's the thing I've looked.
So
I've looked-
you've put the decision on him.
No, the decision wouldn't be on him, it'd be on the board to allow it.
I think he's in a position to where, and I'm gonna tell you, I personally think, Mr. Ball, respectfully, I personally think that seeing everything on headline news and Fox News and MSNBC, that this will be something that's going to hit the press, and when it hits the press, then mosque will start sending money over to these folks, and you will see them here.
Well, here's the
So
thing about it.
are you prepared?
Oh, I'm prepared for this, okay, I'm prepared for this reason here. I don't make a decision based on fear. I mean, my whole thing from a natural standpoint, this is part of our culture. I mean, this is part of what we do. This is part, if we say, well, you know, if you do that, then you've got a lot of, teachings on Islam, the Quran, Wiccan, all this stuff here. Here's what it comes right down to. It comes right down to student-initiated interest in it. You know what I mean? I have my own theory on this. It's kind of the Mount Carmel Elijah type thing. You know what I mean? Whatever's effective, whatever works for you. Didn't work for the prophets of Baal. I mean, I'm doing a little bit of, I'm not trying to preach or teach or anything like that. But what I'm saying is what is effective will draw students and allow those students, at least as part of their educational experience, to make that decision. I mean, if there were things like that available, probably when I went to school, I wouldn't have been the hellion that I was. I mean, I'll just be honest with you. I mean, that's true. That's,
I'm just concerned that you're opening that up for kids to experiment with witchcraft, being an atheist.
Well, they can do that anyway, right now on their own.
But I think the argument's going to be made probably somewhere down the road that that's a religion.
Oh, I know that.
And
the argument's
so you're going to have to
made.
give them that time.
Yeah, the argument's been made. My whole thing is.
You've made it easier.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing about it is.
In my opinion, God's big enough to take care of this.
Yeah, my
Send them to Berkeley, California right now.
My thing
in
is.
New York City.
Well,
and Chicago.
Bad fact.
My thing is that allow it to be done. The Attorney General, I mean, here's the thing about it.
What has changed over the years? My mom said two would come around when she was in school, and they would give her Bible verses to learn, and they would learn them. What has changed over the years? I mean, why?
Well, my argument in this is just to allow students that option. That's the only thing I'm saying. Allow them to make that decision. Allow them.
This is like, I agree somewhat with Tim. I put my trust and faith in God every day, and they haven't taken prayer out of school. I can pray at lunch. There's a lot of things. We have prayer club. You can give out Bibles or Gideons. My concern, like you said, are we opening the door for some groups that we just don't? I'm not a parent. I don't have parents
Are we big enough to tell God no?
That are subjecting my kids to things that I prefer they're not subjected to. I know in Taylor County, if you KSBA are having this question, disseminating information one time a year only, one day a year, because they say it's kind of looking at honoring religious freedom and diversity of groups. But the question came up, if you do it for one, you gotta give out the information for all, you know? So that's, and again, and I respect what you're saying there, and your opinion, and, which there was a lot of things, we pray at ball games, I've done it with my kids, they ask to do it. If you start drawing attention to yourself, like you say, then we're gonna have ACLU or whatever, and if you don't grant permission, and you say, and I'd like the opinion of the ministerial of St. Martin County and different opinions before, I don't know, just kinda.
Well, the thing is, okay,
all you need.
it's not that you got to provide information. That's not the school district's job. In other words, the school district's job is not to say, well, you know, we've allowed you in, so we've got to do this. The school district's job is to remain neutral in the whole thing.
And that's the scary part, because
From the legal
Yes,
perspective.
I like your comment.
Yeah, I know, well, the whole thing about, here's what I've got, Mr. Schmidt, here's what I've got. I've just got.
I just don't wanna lose what we've got, and
Oh, you-
I don't wanna,
You don't have anything to lose. I mean, that's.
you got a lot to
Two
lose.
lockdowns and.
There's a lot to lose.
ain't you plenty?
If you ask the
Respect-
Attorney General for an opinion, you need to include a lot of different things in there. For there's a series of statutes that talk about moral instruction.
Yeah.
And you're right, KRS 158-200 says that the boards of education of independent county school districts may provide for moral instruction of pupils in their jurisdiction in the manner provided by KRS 210 to 260. But then it goes on, and 210 provides that the board can pay for a survey of all students
Yeah.
in the school. And then if the students have an interest, they sign up or respond to the survey, and the parents then have to consent for this moral instruction. But the statute provides that the moral instruction is to take place 1 hour a day, 1 day each week. Now listen to this. To attend their respective places of worship or some other suitable place.
That's the
To
clause.
receive, moral instruction in accordance with the religious faith or preference of the pupils. Now, what they've said is, at their place of worship or some other suitable place, but the board doesn't have the legal authority to have this instruction in schools for two reasons. One, because the statute says at their place of worship or some other suitable place. Two, site-based councils at each school determine how the space is used and when the classes are given. The statute 158-260, to skip over for the others, says that a Board of Education, other than having the survey, cannot incur any additional expense in this instruction. And, I mean, this statute's never been tested. So any pupil who does 260 says that the board can't incur any additional expense. Moral instruction shall be given without expense to any Board of Education beyond the cost of the original survey. These courses or activities shall be supervised by certified personnel. Now, what they're saying, what that statute says, if it means anything, is that the board that public funds can't be used in any way to provide this moral instruction. So the cost of transportation must be borne by whoever it is that's providing the instruction.
Yeah.
If it means what it says, because of supervision, a certified employee must go accompany these students, and somebody other than the school district must pay for it. If you held it in your school and your site-based council agreed, the two problems would be you'd still be providing space and electricity at public expense in violation of the statute. And so if you're going to vote to ask the Attorney General about this, you basically need him to comment on these series of statutes to see what he says. The problem he'll have is with 260, which says the board can't spend any money other than for the initial survey. And that's what you'd be doing if you held classes in your
Well, what
school.
about this
Well, you only
National Council of Bible Curriculum in public schools? Kentucky's got them. There are schools that have the Bible curriculum.
I'm just telling you, that's what the statute says.
Well, all I need is just the board to, I guess, Craig has written the letter, right?
Yes.
Okay. And it's a well-crafted letter. It brings up the issue, and, you know, Mr. Schmidt, it does address the things that that you've talked about.
So the board would be asking for an opinion.
You'd be asking for an opinion, a current
Yeah.
opinion from the state attorney general.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with that. You're gonna ask him.
Well, the current opinion is from 1975. Basically, it doesn't allow it because it's saying that the school can't do it because of separation of church and state. Okay, but my argument is that it doesn't, if it's allowed to be conducted in a non-compulsory manner. I mean, all they can do is turn me down.
Okay.
Or, you know.
Or you might agree with
Yeah, all they can do is turn me down.
Is there a motion to ask for an attorney general opinion on this issue?
I guess I should
So,
recuse.
we're making a motion
Just for the opinion.
just for opinion.
To ask the attorney general for an opinion on this issue? Do we have a motion?
I can't make that motion, can I?
Yeah, you can make.
Oh, I can?
Yeah, you can make.
Okay, I'll make the motion. Please accept my letter.
We have a motion on the table, need a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda, discussion and possible action on salary schedule, bus driver training alignment.
Yeah, just one. An issue that was addressed in our last board meeting was about bus driver trainer pay, bus driver pay. I think the board has addressed bus drivers hired after 7/1/2000, and it's down there, probably 8. It is my recommendation to help reconcile this and solve the issue is to delete the bus driver trainer salary scale. Now, what this would mean is that if we have an employee who, let's say, is a dispatcher, and let's say that they have 20 years of experience, then their hourly pay is $17.26 per hour. Everyone follow so far? A dispatcher, which is 7908 at the top there, if you go over.
Okay, I see.
20 years experience, just for example, is $17.26. There's a separate line salary compensation schedule here for bus driver trainer. I don't know how this was initially instituted, but it's just not a good salary schedule. I think we've
The trainer
discussed
makes
this ad
less than
nauseam.
the driver? Trainer makes less than the driver?
Well, because the driver, that's not what this person does every day, and that's why I'm
Okay.
saying it's just not a good thing to have it on there to begin with. It just adds confusion, because when you have, let's say it's a bus driver or a dispatcher or whoever, well, it's a school teacher, that happens to be certified as a bus driver, then their pay changes. And really, it just adds to the confusion when you have a dispatcher making, again, just using the example, at 20 years, and they're making $17.26, and suddenly that, as part of their job description, they also are bus driver trainers, and then they suddenly drop down to $14.73. So we'll follow so far?
Yeah.
Well, it's my recommendation to the board to continue to work on this schedule, that we eliminate the driver trainer. If we have in our district right now 2 individuals who are driver trainers, and whatever they make per hour, that's what they get to drive train, to drive bus, to dispatch, whatever it is. I mean, you make $17.26 an hour, or in this example, yeah, $17.26 an hour, regardless of whether you're dispatching or driving a bus.
And it's a higher rate.
Oh, of course it is, it's
Okay.
about $3 higher.
Yeah.
Or a driver trainer, you're still making $17.26.
One of the mines and stuff, that's what you did. I mean, if you were called on to, somebody was off and you were
Right.
called on to, fill a position, you still got your hourly rate for what
That's
you
it.
did. Yeah,
That's it.
that's it. Well,
And if
yeah.
somebody, if this, for example, if this person worked overtime, let's say the person drove a bus and dispatched for 7.5 hours a day, 37.5 hours a week, and we needed someone to train bus drivers, and it went over the 40. Well, that person's gonna get the time and a half based on their 17.26 in this example.
Yeah, I think that's,
It just solves a lot of complex moving parts. There's too many moving parts on the schedule.
yeah, I agree.
So I'm recommending that we delete 7933, the bus driver trainer, from the salary schedule. And as I have described, I think there was a,
Because everything else pays more
yes, well,
with the, okay.
well, there are some exceptions, like there's an agreement for trip pay, which is a little different.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone wants trip pay, they know what their contract,
Yeah,
they know what they're
yeah.
gonna get paid to do, show fee and actual trip fee. Now, if it would please the board, I also discussed this with Tim. Tim came over last week, and we seem to be reached to some agreement that this is at least a step.
Full agreement.
Full agreement, but this is a good direction to go.
Yeah, I think it's,
And there's a lot more work to be done on our salary schedules, and Tim and I both discussed that.
Any further discussion on that? Not, we need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion, need a second.
I'll second.
Motion second, all in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is reports, administrative staff reports.
Mr. Chairman, I believe finance. Ms. Sloan?
You spreading it, Nick?
Yes, you know I am.
I sent this forward to the school district today. I don't know if I've got the board on it. I sent the board a couple of them today, but it's,
It's pretty good news, as Mr. Priest said. Actually, I am going to.
I'd like to stick my head in the sand over it, but as you're looking at that, I want to also again emphasize the work that we've been doing on our attendance. While Tammy's passing those out, if you look at the dashboard over here, which is important for the board members, especially as we continue to look at our diagnostic review, this is a snapshot, a dashboard. If you look over to, this goes along with what Tammy's talking about for the audience's information. This is tracking and certainly for the board, for the attendance, not only for our students, but for certified and classified. And so you'll see the, for the students, for a challenge.
The first one is students.
Is it the red?
Yes.
All right. The red is for the students, the blue is for certified, and green. You see, I'm for a challenge here. Should be an 88 for that. But it's important to look at this because this ties in directly with what we emphasized last semester, or last semester in the spring semester, about our student attendance, not only student attendance, but also our faculty staff as well.
It's student attendance going down. It's going down.
So our green certified? Okay, is the green the certified employees?
The green
Red
is
is
classified.
Green
Well, yeah,
is
classified,
blue
that's what I
certified.
meant. So it looks like classified workers have,
But it looks like attendance is going down.
In all, except for this month, there is a tendency for that. And we discussed that. It looks like a tendency when you get up into the holiday season, Thanksgiving and the
well, they
Christmas.
take their time off, right? I mean, those aren't missed days, are they days that are?
For what it does not, what the data does not tell you, it's a good point. What does this data not tell you? Why the student or faculty and staff is absent. It could be FMLA, it could be medical reasons, it could be
Can they be taken their
personal
days?
leave, it could be a non-contract
Okay.
day, it could be many things.
Yeah.
It's not that they just don't show up to work. That's not any of these.
Well, looks like the, classified employees have a little bit of an edge. I mean, I don't, I'm not, you know. I mean, if I was running a race, I would. Please, don't be mad at me and everything, I'm just saying, you know.
You think you caused enough trouble in that?
I'm sorry.
And I do have some good news, and then I do have some, as Mr. Priest said, spread other good news. Preparing for the fiscal year 2016 tentative budget, which is in January, and this, of course, is the December 8th, 2014 board meeting. Since our calendar year is closing, and we have a couple of our board members who have completed their terms, I thought this was a good time to show all the challenges and the accomplishments that this board has done. And they are, to me, huge accomplishments from where we were a year and a half to 2 years ago as a school district. All schools are now receiving their complete instructional money. We were able to acquire a new driver's ed car. We were financially able not to fill vacant positions. And of course, put a new roof on Martin County Middle.
Almost.
Almost. A 1% raise to all employees in fiscal year 15, which was a state mandated raise, but we were financially able to accomplish that. And to me, one of the biggest ones and the most difficult challenge at that time, whether people in the district knew it or not, we avoided, this board did, a mid-year RIF, which was a reduction in force in fiscal year 14 because it was a true possibility.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We purchased a new tire changer at the bus garage, the district did, overcame a deficit ending balance from fiscal year 13, acquired state funding for a new high school. These are some big accomplishments.
I like that, yeah, really good.
These are some really good things. Accomplishments in the grant area. Grants. And these are, the 10,000 was just awarded. These were applied for and won. An RTA, or Reading to Achieve, at Inez Elementary, $145,500. Reading to Achieve at Warfield Elementary, $145,500. Dollar General Grant, $5,000. Born Learning at Eden Elementary, $4,000. Walking Classroom at Warfield Elementary, $2,600. And of course, the School of Climate Transformation Grant, $1,585,077. And that is a 3-year grant. So a total of grants acquired, sought after, $1,887,677. These are good things. Accomplishments. Financially able to purchase 2 new buses in the fiscal year, which is our current year, this year. 2 new buses. Purchase safety fence at the ball field, a football storage building, cameras and doors systems either new or updated at all schools. Reverted the bus driver's pay scale back to 1 pay scale. Overcame a deficit ending balance in fiscal year 2013. Ending balance this past year, $1,108,000. And now we're preparing for a 2% salary increase for every employee for fiscal year 2016. And of course, that was all the good news, and I thought those were all
Those are great.
great.
That's good. Yeah.
Great accomplishments for the school district and the school board. And now I'm going to spread some more. This isn't quite, yes, and it kind of tickled me after I did it because I know there's a show that says caution. I did not realize that until after I read it a couple of times. But of course, revenue versus expenditures, and we know that we cannot spend more than we have. So even though we have all these great accomplishments and challenges that we met, or the board met, we still have to observe caution going forward into fiscal year 2016. We ended with a 1.1% 1 million carry forward. And out of that, we have to sustain this current year. And then in fiscal year 2016, we have to have an ending balance of this year to go take us into fiscal year 16 of at least $750,000. Anything, and that's what we budgeted for, so it's real tight.
Okay, that will include our raise, 30%.
Yes, that will
Okay.
include the 2% raise. It will include a year's experience raise for every employee and our 2% carry forward. So any expenditure outside the budget that we currently have now will dip into that $750,000. So from now till June, any expenditure that's not budgeted could dip into that $750,000, and we would not have enough to do all the things that we need to do. So here's some financial concerns. I gave you the handout sheet from KSBA. And I think during one of our working sessions, I discussed, even though it was state mandated raises, they're not fully state funded. And if you read this, it says the second factor is, and I'm going to just jump to the middle, a second factor, and this is the state's revenue, is that state revenue growth also is coming up short. And what was projected in the budget, which Holiday says carries more worrisome potential. So this is just for you to read. Decreased enrollment in ADA has been a big concern in the past several years. That's why we were in such a situation that we were in financially. ADM, average daily membership, current year 2014-15, to date, we have 2,030 students. Last year, 2013-14, at this time, we had 2,064. So we have 34 less students to date than we at this same time as we did last year. ADA, average daily attendance. That means on a daily basis how many students are attending Martin County schools. Current year, 2014-15 to date, 1,899.63. And I did consult with our DPP, Craig Grayson, today to get current numbers. Last year, at this same time, we had 1,919.51. A decrease of 20 less students on a daily basis attending school in Martin County. The positive of this is the 93.56% of attendance. So that's the good part. Last year it was 92.9. 20 less students attending school on a daily basis factors into approximately $100,000 less sick money, which funds our school system. Financial concerns. The sustainability of state mandated raises. Can we sustain a 1% plus a 2%? We have it covered for fiscal year 2016. How long can we sustain it without increased state funding? Decreased state funding through grants is another concern. Our insurance costs and fringes have to be looked at. Current year Kisbet liability payment that we took on this past year. Prospect of higher workers' comp due to current claims. Loss of Head Start transportation reimbursement to our transportation department. Higher transportation, increased cost of utilities and supplies, and maintenance cost. Conclusion, with a vision, staying informed, and good stewardship, we can keep our district on a sound financial path. That was a good thought. You're welcome.
You were very inspiring. No, that's good.
That's good.
And we have saved
Good news.
Yes, FYI, the information that was given by the state today for the audience's information, the board is already informed of this. Martin County is number 9 in the state out of 173 districts in our energy efficiency. So that is a cause for celebration for the district. Our folks are being very energy efficient, so it's pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. And for the record, if everybody behaves, they can have their coffee pots back.
All right.
I'm tired of going to schools without a cup of coffee, so.
Okay.
Next item on the agenda is Martin County Education Association report. Is there anything to report this evening?
Just that now that you've abolished that position, we were on level one of the agreement, so no reason to go any further. We're content, more than satisfied with how it went, and I'm glad because that's actually the way the process is supposed to work. It keeps all the politics out, it keeps the board members out, and we had a great meeting the other day, and not only did we work that out, but other issues. So that's how it's supposed to work. I think that's probably all I have, other than now that that's done, you'll get your contracts, because when we filed that grievance, we had to hold up on a few things. And I appreciate Don Ennis so much for you taking charge and starting to help the support staff, and they've made a lot of progress, and I appreciate you so much. And Craig, I appreciate you for everything that you've done. I always haven't disagreed, but I hope you know that what I do business-wise doesn't mean personally. And I hope all of you have a great holiday. And I just ask that God bless each and every one of you, because you have made such strides here.
Oh, yeah.
I can sit.
Yeah, just with Tammy doing all this stuff here, I'm like, my goodness. I mean, back a couple of years ago, when I first started, it looked bleak.
Yeah, I told Mr. Meadows the other day, I get tired of being a pit bull. I like being a poodle, and I see us getting there. And you all have accomplished so much. There's not a district I honestly can't think of a district in Eastern Kentucky, and I don't have all of Eastern Kentucky anymore because I bumped a bunch of people, but but all my colleagues, I dare say they haven't touched on half of the issues that you all as a board have had to deal with. I would bet anybody here. And you've handled them. The children are truly starting to come first. And that's been my whole goal the entire time. As much as I advocate for my folks and your folks and you, and I do that occasionally, that's my first love. I was just raised a poor boy years ago, and I know how hard it is to live in a community like this where the economy's not all that great, and how you suffer. So anyway, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I can't praise you enough. So thanks.
Okay, I got a question here, Mr. Williams, Craig, to Mike and Tim here, which I had a aide approach me, and she's got a legitimate concern. Do we as a board, or you as KEA, like if a personal property, like she got hit by a student, accidentally of course, and knocked her glasses off and damaged her glasses, which is apparently $120, does KEA, or do we as a board, do we have to cover somebody if something like that were?
If it's the same one, Mr. Harless, about 3 months ago, she had called me, and I told her the process that I could go to Mr. Meadows with it, and
I mean, I just wonder, I know KEA has insurance, I just wonder, do you have, I mean, is there anything?
Well, I don't know, the question is whether she's covered under a policy, or maybe she got a worker's.
I mean, her personal property glasses were knocked off by a student accidentally.
She get her, huh? They denied it. It's a question whether she has coverage or not. I guess under somebody's policy, or whether the board would see fit to, reimburse her for the cost of the glasses.
If KEA or if she belongs to KEA,
Well,
policy.
if she belongs to our insurance is certainly for life and for legal assistance and to provide attorneys. If it's the same one, I think was turned down for workers' comp. If it's the same one, I don't know that. And then there's a way to appeal. And again, back to the process. Unless we're, given permission to do that.
I just wondered if we had insurance. That's all I was asking, so I didn't know,
I don't know what the
situation.
don't, isn't that right?
That's correct.
That's the one question I had. Thank you. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you,
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Sutton. Next item is school reports. New business? Anything new business?
Can I approach the board?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would ask that the board take into consideration of salary schedules that I have looked up for surrounding districts compared to what our district is paying for someone with my amount of education and my ability that I provide for the board. And I would ask that the board make it comparable to some of the schools that are around us. I really don't have any representation. I am just labeled as a classified employee, but I do have a Bachelor of Science degree from Murray State University, as well as a network certification from Capella University, and I also am Apple certified. And the list that you see of all above that is a list of all the duties that I provide for this district.
All right, you are, okay, how many years?
I'm in the system for 20 years now, Mr. Ball.
Okay, you're, okay. And
And if you get to look at the first page, that's the salary schedule for Martin County compared to
Oh.
the school districts.
I was looking,
Yes.
my goodness, your pay's pretty good, but I looked up and said, that's Boyd County.
Yes. First page is Martin County.
Okay, Mark County.
This is what I'm making there, sir.
I don't think that you want to, well, if I look at Boyd counties, your salary is anywhere from $9 below to $30 below.
Yes, sir.
What they make at Boyd County.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me see.
Excuse me?
Which code number is your position? on the
Mine,
salary schedule?
and just give me a second, I will show you. Get to look at it, code 7525.
Computer technician?
Yes.
All right, do this in quick math. And Lawrence County, which would be a school district comparable to
Yes, sir.
size.
Yes.
We did not coordinate this. No, I'm not, I'm just, I know that I thought to you, brother, I had no idea what Lawrence County did, but I knew Lawrence County would be roughly our size in enrollment. And that, whatever that person laid down, I had it here. Well, you make about half of what they make for the county schools.
Yes, sir.
You make about $8 less an hour than what Lawrence County.
Yes, sir.
So, which would be,
Now, that's just for certification, if you get to looking at the actual, so that's actually not anyone dealing with a Bachelor of Science degree.
yeah.
Do you have the job duties of those districts up there?
They're listed on there, yes,
The,
sir.
the job responsibilities,
Yes.
the job duty list?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Description.
Yes, they were there, yes. Because I provide all that, I provide all your
So
network.
where's the job descriptions? Job descriptions are like page, 2 pages.
No, that's on the
Criteria,
salary
experience,
schedule. Yeah,
education.
that's the years of experience is listed there as well.
I
Because
mean,
you've got,
what are the job duties, is what I'm getting at.
that's what I cover, they're basic, you
No, I
got a
mean, are
district.
the other districts, Mr. Goble,
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
are they here?
Yeah.
I don't see them. Is there job descriptions from other districts?
For the class,
Yeah, they're different, over there, up there, so the next one, sir, you'll see it on.
Okay.
If you get to look at what those duties hold, like here, for instance,
You're talking about on Boyd counties, right?
yes, you have a computer program webmaster, White, I help maintain our actual website, local area network administration, that's dealing with actual pulling of drops and switches. The computer tech, which is basically just an A+ certification, is what that holds for. You've got an individual that makes money just for maintaining computer labs. You also have computer training specialists, and you also have computer technical specialists. That's where my degree falls.
But once again, the job descriptions from those counties,
Yes, those are broke up into different
but
sections.
we don't, but the board does not have them.
He's
And your
saying he
job
does them
description.
all.
I'm saying I do all of those. sir.
I know what you do.
Yes, sir, I know you do.
I'm saying that we don't have what you're comparing to in other counties of what those technicians or
Well, if it's
programmers-
just a web, if he's just a web interface guy, all he's dealing with is what's there on the website.
I guess what I'm saying is that we're comparing salaries and not job responsibilities.
No,
and
those are part of,
assignments.
those are actually part of the responsibility.
Okay,
That's
Mr.
what's
Gosselin, I know
there.
what you do.
Russell Independent, he drives a bus and goes over there. I think that's what he's asking you for. Each county has a different job description. That's what he's asking for.
No, all this was based on his technology, not anything else from there. This is based on the technology.
Here's what I'm saying, and I'm just, and I'm not trying to embarrass you or anything like that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, what kind of degree you have?
I have a Bachelor of Science degree. I'm a telecommunications specialist. That's my degree.
Bachelor of Science degree?
Yes.
Okay. That's in computer science, I guess? Or-
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And also web development, and also have a network certification, and also have Apple certification.
Apple certification.
Yes.
Do we only have one?
And you,
So,
can I,
district technology and computer technician.
I hate to share the board, knowing I don't hate to, this guy has a 4-year college degree and makes $25,000 a year. I mean, that's what I looked at your thing for
Yes, sir.
air.
Yes, sir, you're
And
correct.
that's the reason I didn't want to embarrass you. I wasn't trying to embarrass you or
Right.
anything like that. I took what he made. Where did I write that at? Yeah, right here. I took your $15.34 an hour times 40, you got 503 a week, 52 weeks in a year,
Yes, sir.
roughly 500, that's easy to do. So, I mean, would anybody here, you've got a bachelor's degree in computer programming and you make $25,000 a year, and other folks here are making the lowest that I've seen on here has been like $43,000 a year or something
Yes,
like that. So you're making anywhere from, like in Floyd County, the guy makes $46,000 a year. Lawrence County, $23.38, you're $15.30 something, so you make $8 more. And that's the thing that I look at for Lawrence County, because that's the school district that's roughly our size. I mean, you know what I mean?
Right.
And you're making $8 less on the air.
Mr. Ball, I'll have to look at those job descriptions. I mean, if you may be comparing apples and oranges here on these responsibilities when you're looking at other districts. For
I looked
instance,
at the regional.
we have Ross,
Yes.
we have another district technology director who makes considerable comparable pay to other districts.
Okay, what's the difference in their qualifications?
Well, that's what I'm saying. We don't have a job description in those qualifications from other districts. Are there a difference in qualifications between the district technology coordinator and the computer technician? Yes.
Okay.
It kind of goes back to the pay scale you was talking about earlier, it still needs a little bit of work.
Yeah, and I would also ask the board go back and visit the actual pay schedules of individuals that held this position before I was hired into it, and look at their salaries as well.
Okay, who?
Michael Muncy.
Michael Muncy.
Yes.
Okay, Tammy, can we get that? Huh? Well, I mean, she is the,
I can get that for you,
Okay, let's get that.
And review job descriptions.
and job descriptions.
And job description.
That's all I'm asking.
Okay,
Yeah,
that sounds good.
Yes, that's all I'm asking.
That sounds very, very reasonable.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
all
I
I'm
have
asking
those,
for.
I have, right. I think
What do you think? I mean, $25,000 a year for, you have to be the lowest paid, degree
Well,
person that we have.
I'm just gonna be honest with you, what brought this to my attention was whenever I had to send in to my financial loan people what I was making, and they were saying, what is going on with your pay scale?
Yeah.
They're like, you hold a Bachelor of Science degree and you're making $25,000 a year, what's up with this? That's what they're asking
Well,
me.
you should tell them that you just love Mark County.
Yeah,
You don't want to
exactly.
leave.
Let me
I
ask a
yeah, I
question,
understand that, but
when something like this comes up, isn't there a, process that has to be typed in? And-
Your board policy says that when something like this comes up, you're not supposed to make the decision now, but you do it at the next meeting. You consider it at the next
So can we
meeting.
consider?
That's all I'm
At
asking,
that
for
time, you get
consideration,
all
that's
of
all I'm
the
asking for.
job
Yeah.
descriptions and all the
Right.
information
So
you
we
need
can
in
consider
advance, so
this.
you make
Yeah.
a decision.
We can consider this the first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
well, if you just do, regardless of his job description and everything, just a brief look over everything that's computer related, you make a considerable amount of money less
Yes, sir.
than what other people pay. And that's, yeah.
That's all I'm asking for the board to do, is just take it into consideration.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Bell.
Thank you.
But if you look at that with his education, and you kept referring to that, I'm gonna remind you that I have some Head Start folks with associates. I have a couple of transportation maybe with associates. I have a bunch of parapros with associates. So if you're gonna base that on education and not qualifications as far as the job description, you can expect me to be back here for them folks.
Okay.
I think we wanna try to help everybody.
Sure.
And if we wanna get on degrees, which I'll about to throw my sister-in-law in there, who's, had an AB degree and made 11,000 a year.
And Joe the Muslim, when he shows up, include him in that.
Might as well give her a plug.
Okay.
The crowd has thinned down. At this time, before the next item, if it's okay with the board, I'd like to recognize our two board members that are completing their service to
And have refreshments too, right?
And we have refreshments, and if everyone, it's like church, if everyone would participate in that, it's a time of fellowship
Yes.
and recognition, celebration
Yes.
of both our vice chair, Donetta Harless, and our board chairman, Craig Priest. Donetta has served students as a board member for 4 years in this district, and Craig has been, is it 6? 5 years. And so, listen, folks, you know this is a thankless job. And, we need to be, evaluated sometimes for board members to do it for what they get reimbursed financially or anything else, because it is a thankless job. And so, Donetta, I appreciate everything that you do and that you continue to do. And Craig, you as well. This district has benefited and has been spoken of and described time and time again, whether it's finances, facilities, or faces, meaning personnel. You guys have made some incredibly difficult decisions. But it was a decision not of you personally, it was a decision that you had for an office. And I want you to know you have my undying respect and admiration for what you do and for what we all put up with sometimes. But it is, at the end of the day, it's a joy. It's a joy to see these kids succeed, and that's what you've helped us do. And at this time, before we, if it would be okay to cut the cake and to enjoy a piece before we go into executive session, would either member like to address the...
I want to share one thing. I was thinking of this the other day. I said, it's been an emotional roller coaster, I know. I said, and tempers have flared, especially mine. I know.
No.
I said, but I said, I was thinking of the good things. And I was thinking about how we did agree with the architect. And then I was thinking, just a funny thing come to my mind. And I was sitting there, I said, do you remember we was with Miss Jean Crowley here? And something come up to I'm going to share it to you all because they know the effect of a controversial board member. And all eyes looked at me. And I'm like, what? You're going to miss me when I'm gone. Well, today's that day. You're going to miss me. But But no, I said, we've had our differences, but I've realized we all have our strengths, we all have our weaknesses. We all do, we're human. But I have total respect for everything that you give to our community and our children, and I appreciate it.
Well, all of the things that she pointed out, you were here during that time. That's the thing to look at.
Yeah, but I'm still heartbroken, our kids are in a small school.
Huh?
I'm just so hard, I want, and I have one request for the future board, and I beg, please remember those that were left out somewhere
Yeah.
in that school.
I'd just like to say a couple of words. Of course, I always talk too much, but I'm ramble, don't let me ramble, but I appreciate Don Hannah. Of course, I stepped over the line a time or two, and I apologize again for that, but I'll always be grateful to what you've done and what you stood for. And of course, Craig, don't promote or publicize a lot of things he does, like with the grant we got, the 1.5 million. I had a lot to do with that and some other things that he does behind the scenes, and hopefully, that we, you, Craig, and Donette, and all of us sitting here can walk down the hallway of that new high school shortly. So that's my hope and that's my dream. So I appreciate it.
Looking forward to that. Just very honored and
I'm gonna miss
privileged.
the really, really cool music that Craig gets on his phone, which should tell you that I call his office quite a bit. I mean, he has the best wait on me to answer the phone. He has anything from the Eagles to Christmas carols. Very good. Extremely good.
Anyway, it's been an honor and a privilege to serve for 5 years. Some really great staff, administrators. Mr. Meadows has done an excellent job. Pretty amazing, in my opinion. Thank you.
So just because you're not on the board anymore doesn't mean that you can't be a part of the school system.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
So we're gonna break for cake?
Wait for
Craig,
Craig,
if you could
release
always-
the board, and then we'll go into.
I'll let Craig, you can always fill in for me anytime.